In today's video I'll be going over the top 5 best supercars for racing in GTA 5 based on multiple factors such as the top speed, handling, lap time and just overall feel of the car. This list is mainly based for stunt races, however would probably be roughly the same for any other type of race such as street races. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. Coming in at number 5 on the list we have the LM87, which was released during the Criminal Enterprise DLC back in 2022. It is the most expensive car on this list, hence why I ranked it lower than other cars, as its value for money isn't as good. However, this car feels absolutely amazing to drive, as its handling is beautiful, and around some corners you could probably get away without braking, it's that good. This makes the LM87 ideal for beginners, as it's really easy to handle and drive without spinning out on corners. For all the cars on this list I completed a lap on a stunt race, as you can see, which allowed me to compare their lap times. The LM87 completed this lap in 2 minutes and 17 seconds, which isn't too bad. Moving on, coming in at number 4 we have the Deveste 8, which was released back in 2019 and is the cheapest car on this list by quite some distance. This makes it ideal for players who are new to the game and are trying to save up for a car to be competitive in stunt races. This car has a very high top speed at around 132 miles per hour, which actually makes it the fastest car in a straight line on this list. However, this car's downside is that its cornering isn't the best, as it feels stiff and heavy, making it slower around corners. Its lap time around the track was 2 minutes and 19 seconds, which isn't that good compared to other cars on this list, hence why it stays in at number 4 and why I didn't put it any higher on the list. In at number 3 we have the new vehicle released in the DLC in December, the Omaggio. I think that's how you say it. I have little experience using this car, however from the few weeks I've been using it, I can only say good things about it. It has a very high top speed, and its cornering is excellent. It carries so much speed around corners, and has a good acceleration. In the future I could consider ranking the car higher, but as I only have limited knowledge on the vehicle, I don't want to overrate it. It's priced at just over 2.8 million, not including the upgrades, which is a little expensive, but by now in GTA everyone should have enough funds to buy a new car from the DLC. Its lap time was 2 minutes and 16 seconds, which is pretty damn impressive and ranked very highly amongst other supercars. All I can say is that this new vehicle will be very competitive in the supercar class for racing and deserves some consideration to be used as your first choice car. Moving on and coming in at number 2 we have the Progen Emerus, which was released during the Diamond Casino DLC back in 2019. The car is pretty expensive, coming in at 2.75 million, which makes it harder to access for new players to the game. This car has a relatively low top speed, however makes up for it with its braking and cornering ability. Despite this, it is important to keep in mind this vehicle is rear wheel drive, which makes it more likely to spin out around corners, which makes this car hard to control, especially for beginners who aren't experienced using it. In conclusion, I actually think this vehicle is the best in the game, if you know how to use it and control it. However, I've put it in second as it is very hard to control and may cause many accidents if not driven correctly. Its lap time was 2 minutes and 15 seconds, which was the best out of all the cars on this list. However, I didn't put it in at number 1 as it took me many attempts to get that time, as I spun out on many occasions on previous laps. Before I get into the number 1, I have a special mention to make. The 811 is a car which was released back in 2016, which makes it the oldest vehicle on this list. The reason this vehicle is getting a mention is that it is the fastest vehicle top speed wise in the supercar class, which makes it suitable for certain races. For example, for long haul races around the whole map, as seen in the background footage, it is by far the best type of car for that race. As you can see from the footage, I am overtaking people for fun. However, what lets this vehicle down is that it can't turn for shit. Jokes aside, this makes this vehicle practically useless for any type of normal race, and is never considered to be used. I also tested this vehicle around the Vespucci stunt race, and the lap time was 2 minutes and 27 seconds, which is like 10 seconds slower than the other vehicles on this list, which is absolutely abysmal. But I thought this vehicle was worthy of a mention, as in long haul races in a straight line, it is the go-to vehicle. Now coming in at number 1, if you haven't already guessed it, it is the Krieger, which was released back in 2019. The car is quite costly, coming in at almost 2.9 mil, which makes it inaccessible for players who are new to the game. Unlike the Emerus, the Krieger is all-wheel drive, which makes it less likely to spin out around corners, and it feels very easy to drive and doesn't require much skill. I must say this is by far my favourite supercar to race with in the game, and it is always my go-to vehicle to use in races, which makes it the vehicle I have the most experience in. This car is probably the most reliable to race in, as it is very smooth to drive in, therefore less likely to crash. This makes it suitable for inexperienced racers, as it doesn't take much skill to race in. Its lap time was 2 minutes and 17 seconds, which isn't quite as good as some of the other vehicles on this list. However, the reason it's at number 1 is because it's very easy to drive. Anyway guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember that this is just my opinion and other people may think differently. Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and hopefully see you in the next one.